Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Get ready to pull your blankets up tight, because tonight we're retaking a trip to a place where the final bell docent mean class is over. We're exploring the chilling tales of Blackwood College, a campus known more for its phantom residents than its graduates. Imagine walking down an empty hallway late at night, the only sound your own footsteps, until you hear another set right behind you. Or studying in the library, feeling a cold breath on your neck, only to turn and find no one there. These aren't just scenes from a movie. For the students of Blackwood, they can be a terrifying reality. The story of Blackwood College begins not with an inauguration, but with a tragedy. The land it was built on was once the site of the old Blackwood Orphanage, a grim institution that burned to the ground in the late 1800s. It's said that several children and a stern headmistress, a woman named Eleanor Vance, perished in the blaze. When the college was erected decades later, it seemed the past wasn't ready to be paved over. From the very first day classes were held, strange occurrences began. Doors slamming shut in empty buildings, disembodied whispers echoing through the lecture halls, and the faint, unsettling smell of smoke appearing out of nowhere. Let's start in the oldest building on campus, Rutherford Hall. This is the main humanities building, but many students call it the Weeping Hall. Why? Well, late at night, students and custodians have reported hearing the unmistakable sound of a young child crying, seeming to come from inside the walls. The sobs are faint at first, then grow louder, filled with a sense of desperate sadness, before abruptly stopping. One janitor, a man named Marcus, who worked there for over 20 years, swore he once saw the ghostly figure of a little girl in a tattered dress, standing at the end of the third-floor corridor. He said she looked at him with hollow, sorrowful eyes before simply fading away. He refused to clean that floor alone ever again. But it's not just children who haunt these halls. The library is another paranormal hotspot, believed to be the domain of the orphanage's headmistress, Eleanor Vance. Unlike the sorrowful spirits of the children, Eleanor's presence is described as severe and judgmental. Students studying late often report a sudden, intense feeling of being watched, accompanied by a dramatic drop in temperature. Books will fly off shelves with incredible force, and the old card catalogue drawers have been known to slide open and slam shut on their own. One student group trying to pull an all-nighter even claimed they heard a sharp, stern voice whisper, "Silence," when they were laughing too loudly. They packed up their books and left immediately. It seems even in death, Ms. Vance demands discipline. Now, let's talk about the campus theater. Every theater has its ghost, right? Well, Blackwood's has one with a flair for the dramatic. His name is supposedly Julian, a former drama student from the 1950s who was tragically heartbroken. Legend says he was a brilliant actor, but after being rejected by the love of his life, he disappeared. His presence is most often felt backstage. Actors report seeing a shadowy figure watching from the wings during rehearsals. Props go missing only to reappear in the most unlikely places, and the stage lights have been known to flicker and die right in the middle of a crucial scene. Some say if you stand alone on the center of the stage in the dark and whisper his name 3 times, you might just get a personal and terrifying performance. And it gets even more intense. The Science Building, a modern addition to the campus, isn't immune. In fact, Lab 301 is strictly off-limits after dark. The story goes that a chemistry professor in the 1980s was working on a volatile experiment late one night when it went horribly wrong. There was a small explosion, and he was caught in the resulting fire. Since then, the lab has been plagued by bizarre activity. Beakers and test tubes have been found shattered on the floor in the morning, with no signs of entry. People walking past the lab late at night have seen flickering lights inside, like the glow of a Bunsen burner, and some have even reported seeing a silhouetted figure moving around inside the locked room. The university officially blames faulty wiring, but the students know better. They call him the Phantom Professor. Perhaps the most unsettling stories come from the dormitories, specifically Oak Hall. This is where students live, eat, and sleep, making the hauntings all the more personal. Residents of the 4th floor have frequently complained about their doors being rattled at night, as if someone is desperately trying to get in. They also report hearing frantic scratching sounds coming from inside their closets. One former resident shared a story online about waking up in the middle of the night to find her room freezing cold. She looked towards her desk and saw the faint outline of a small boy sitting in her chair, just watching her. She was so paralyzed with fear she couldn't even scream. She just closed her eyes, and when she opened them again, he was gone. She moved out the very next day. So, what do you think? Are these just overactive imaginations fueled by old legends and late-night study sessions? Or is Blackwood College a place where the veil between our world and the next is unusually thin? The sheer number of consistent, detailed accounts from different people over many decades makes you wonder. From the crying children in Rutherford Hall to the stern librarian and the dramatic actor, the spirits of Blackwood seem to be as much a part of the campus as the students themselves. They are a permanent class that never graduates, forever walking the halls of their haunted college. Have you ever had a creepy experience at a school or university? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. Thank you so much for joining me on this spooky tour of Blackwood College. If you enjoyed this dive into the paranormal, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next chilling adventure. Stay safe, and whatever you do, don't study alone in the dark. See you next time.